So welcome to your first lesson in Science 10, which is on safety in the laboratory. Obviously, you can see from these images that there are multiple safety concerns that we need to consider when working in a lab. So I'd like you to take a moment and just look at these images and think about what's possibly happening here to cause these things to go wrong, or why should you not be doing these things in a laboratory? So obviously, carelessness in the lab can result in major damage not only to yourself, but also to the lab space in general. So we can see here there's a bunch of broken glassware that's happening. There's spilt chemicals. It looks like things have exploded, so there was probably fire involved, etc. So these are all things we obviously want to avoid in a laboratory setting. Same here, this looks like a chemical fire that happened caused by some kind of carelessness in the laboratory. So a lab is a serious setting. We need to be careful and follow all precautions very carefully to avoid any issues happening. So first off, we want to consider clothing protection. So wear a lab apron to protect clothing from stains as well as spills. Always confine loose clothing and long hair. For example, roll up long sleeves, use a hair tie or elastic to tie back long hair. So these are requirements, these are things that you've been taught since grade 8. No dangling jewelry. Wear closed-toed shoes, no sandals. So obviously, as we're getting into warmer months, you may think about wearing something where you have more skin exposed, so shorts, sandals, that sort of stuff. On any day where you have a lab, this is not acceptable. You need to make sure you're fully covered and protected for your own safety. Wear gloves, and make sure you're not being distracted by your cell phone. This could also risk damage happening to your phone. So keep your cell phone away in the lab. Eye safety is next. So if anything gets in your eye, flush your eyes with plenty of water for 15 minutes and let the teacher know immediately. So we have eye wash stations set up in the lab. Again, you should be familiar from working with these in grade 8 and 9. So if something gets in your eye, start flushing your eyes out immediately and let your teacher know. Be sure you know how to use the emergency eye wash station as well. We will do a little bit of review on this on the first day, but again, this should all be review. And then always don't forget the main important thing, always wear safety goggles while you're in the lab. So one thing that was left out of the previous slide on eye safety is if you wear contacts regularly, you should not be wearing contacts on days where there are labs. You're better and safer to wear glasses, and this is related to how contacts can kind of trap chemicals and fumes underneath, which can cause eye damage. So it is much safer to wear glasses with goggles on lab days. So you can wear contacts any other day, but the days we are in the lab, please avoid wearing contacts. So obviously here we see two students who are fully protected, wearing lab coats, gloves. They are wearing either goggles or really large glasses. Here we always recommend you wearing goggles. They're also wearing masks. And so they're fully protected, which is great. So you can see that this is proper lab safety occurring. So fire safety, we already mentioned this, but make sure you're confining loose clothing and tying back your hair to avoid things from catching on fire. Never get closer to an open flame than necessary. Never reach across an open flame. More fire safety, we've got images of a fire extinguisher. You can remember the acronym PASS if you need help remembering how to utilize the fire extinguisher. We also have an image of a fire blanket, which is used to smother an open flame if it is happening in the lab. So you should know the location of the fire extinguisher and fire blanket. If a student catches fire, use the fire blanket to smother the flame. If an object catches fire, use the fire extinguisher. So do not use the fire extinguisher on the student, use the fire blanket on the student. So obviously in the lab, we will be utilizing gas sometimes. So use proper procedures when lighting a Bunsen burner, and turn off the gas valve when it's not in use. So it should be perpendicular. You can see that it forms an L shape with the gas faucet. So if it's in line with the opening, that means that it's on. If it's perpendicular, forming that L shape, it means it is off. Heating safety. Handle hot objects with tongs or insulated gloves. So do not touch them with your hands, you will get burned. Put hot objects on the bench protectors, never directly onto the tabletop. So this is just to avoid damage and melting. Sharp objects. Handle any sharp objects with care and cut in a direction away from your body. Electrical safety. Never use an electrical appliance near water or a wet surface. So this is to avoid the charge traveling through the liquid to you or the area around you. Do not pull from the cord to unplug an appliance. Always pull directly from the plug itself. So this is to avoid the cord snapping or breaking and then causing electrocution. So again, just being cautious. Do not use wires if the wire covering seems worn. So you can see in the bottom left image that the wires themselves are exposed from underneath the covering. So we would not want to use this appliance. If you notice this, please let me know. Okay, glassware safety. Never pick up broken glass with your bare hands. We have a broom and dustpan in the lab and a broken glass bin. Dispose of all broken glass in the broken glass container. It does not go into the garbage can. Never use broken or chipped glassware. If you notice anything that seems cracked, broken, or chipped, please let me know immediately. Poison. Never touch, taste, or smell any unknown substance. Wait for all teachers' instructions. Caustic substances. So caustic substances, some chemicals can irritate and burn the skin. If a chemical spills on your skin, flush it with plenty of water and notify your teacher without any delay. So toxic vapors, some vapors can injure the skin, eyes, and lungs. Never inhale vapors directly. Use your hand to waft a small amount of vapor towards your nose. So again, these are all repeats from the last couple of years. Clean up. So dispose of any chemicals as directed by your teacher. Do not make assumptions. Put away all equipment as instructed. And wash your hands thoroughly after any laboratory activity. So you don't want to be taking any chemicals or anything out of the lab. So there are two videos for you to watch linked in here, or sorry, one video. There's Crash Course Lab Safety, as well as we've got your notes on lab safety for you to complete. So these are set up as a fill-in-the-blank style with a word bank, so that you can kind of figure out what the word should be through either understanding it, or if you get stuck on a word, you can eliminate some and then whatever's left over will fit in the box.